Hi, I'm Sandy Cohen, and today's webinar is focused on yoga and mindfulness for calm, connection, and compassion during COVID-19. Force, as a national nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of individuals and families facing hereditary breast, ovarian, pancreatic, prostate, colorectal, and endometrial cancers, recognizes the stress this time of uncertainty brings. Social distancing is taking a toll on everyone. Force offers several virtual programs where you can connect with peers and trained volunteers in our community. You are not alone. Visit Force at facingourrisk.org to learn more. Being kind to ourselves by taking a pause in our daily lives to cope with anxiety and stress is essential. Our speaker, Ilana Beigel, is a yoga educator and life coach affiliated with the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health in Massachusetts. She is also a mom, a BRCA2 positive previvor, and a medical speech language pathologist. She's going to share tools to practice, cultivate, and embody the qualities of calm, connection, and compassion during this uncertain time. Alana will help us learn how to incorporate simple techniques into our daily lives to relieve stress, promote harmony, and inspire transformation. Alana, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm so happy to be here, and also want to thank Sue Friedman, the Executive Director of Force, for this idea, for putting this together and making it happen. So before we dive right in, just a couple logistic things. If you're anything like me right now, you're pretty webinar zoomed out, a lot of time on screens. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here to dive into this information and for watching and engaging. And I really invite you to be here now. So close any other browsers, put your phone away, really sink in to being in this experience. And I'm really happy to share some things I've learned, some things I've integrated and practiced throughout my life, and see how it might be interesting and supportive for you. Whether this is brand new information for you or you're a seasoned, experienced practitioner of some of these tools, I hope there's something meaningful and valuable to you. So as we go through, mostly be talking, some slides, some information, and a few little practices to engage with and experience together. They'll all levels, accessible to anyone. So you know how you learn best. You might be sitting with pen and paper, taking notes, maybe lying on the couch, close your eyes, maybe watching little bits, pausing it, coming back and watching the rest. But do what you need to do to really get the most out of this experience. So Sandy introduced me a little bit, but my name's Alana. I'm a yoga educator and coach. I'm a BRCA2 previvor and diagnosed initially in 2008, had all my surgeries, mastectomy, oophorectomy, hysterectomy, preventatively. From 2012 to 2018 was my most recent surgery. And all these tools that I'm going to be talking about, yoga and mindfulness, have really been paramount in my life, in my diagnosis, my decisions, my surgeries, and certainly now in COVID-19, they're coming in handy certainly as well. So these tools are really, really helpful, I can say, from personal experience. What are we going to discuss today? Calm, connection, compassion. I mean, when I thought about what I could talk about in terms of mindfulness and yoga, there's so many things, but I feel like that's just a really good base foundation, something that I think it's safe to say all of us want and need more of always, but certainly now in this time that we're going through. So we're going to talk a little bit about what it actually is, mindfulness in yoga, some ways it can help, and some ways to easily incorporate it into your day, because if it's not easy, humans aren't really going to do it. That's just how we roll. So before we even get into the real meat of the topic here, I invite you to just take 3 deep breaths right now to just really pause and arrive in this moment. So some letting go breaths. Take a deep breath in through the nose and let it out with a gentle sigh. Do that 2 more times. Deep breath in. Let it go. 1 more time. You might notice even just in 20 seconds or so of a few letting go breaths, a beginning of a shift in your system. So diving into the information, actually, sorry, we skipped a slide before we get into the information. An overarching message and benefit of this practice really is getting out of your head and getting into your heart and your body. So mindfulness, right? It's the mind, it's the head, it's the thinking part, but really it's about getting out of the head. We as a society, we're really good at thinking things through, at making pro-con lists, at weighing the things, at being really heady. We're not so good at just sort of being with the other layers of ourselves. And there's a quote by Einstein that I love. He says, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant." So the intuitive mind, a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. And then he goes on to say, we've created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So these practices of mindfulness and yoga, these secular, really inclusive practices, are ways to connect with this gift of the intuitive mind and sort of get out of this rational, logical processing thinking stuff that we do that can be really helpful, but can also sometimes kind of get in the way. So what is mindfulness? Definition of mindfulness that I came across on the internet is a mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. So it's definitely a buzzword these days, mindfulness. And we're kind of in this talk really combining the two in a lot of ways, mindfulness and yoga, because for me, yoga is this practice of mindfulness. It's a doorway into this state. And sort of the things that stand out to me here in this definition is awareness and accepting. And we'll talk a little bit more about these as we go through. But it's really about slowing down enough to even notice what's going on. So having that awareness, and then just accepting what is without needing to change it, and knowing what is it that I can change and want to change, and what is it that needs to just sort of be right now, and that knowing the difference. So another definition of mindfulness that I came across that I really liked was a peaceful quality of attention that anyone can develop by simply focusing on the present moment in a non-judgmental way. So, it's this idea again of accepting, of not judging, of not needing to change. And when we get into some of the yoga stuff, the practice of yoga that I practice and that I teach is really about creating this state of non-judgmental awareness, or of being sort of the witness of seeing what's going on inside you and around you, with this state of not detachment of like, I'm detached from it, I don't care about it, but of just this ability to separate from it in enough of a way that it doesn't hijack you and take you down some path that you're not wanting to go, and you really have control over your experience. So what is yoga? Yoga, there's so many definitions of yoga, but the way I practice it, the way I teach it, the way it resonates with me is it's a comprehensive system, secular system, not of beliefs, but of techniques and guidance for enriched living. It's tools. And I have this picture of the mat here because most people are familiar with yoga as something that we do on a mat with our bodies, which it is, and it's so much more than that. And the definition of yoga that really resonates the most with me is this idea of skillful engagement in and participation with life, which really ties in with the whole mindfulness piece of being aware and accepting and engaging in life in a skillful way. And it's not about touching your toes, it's not about downward dog, although that can be part of it, sure. And thousands and thousands of years ago, yoga was created as a system for people trying to escape the world, right? Monks that were wanting to renounce the world and transcend to something greater. Right now in modern day life, to me, to the school of yoga that I am part of and that resonates with me, not that I'm part of, but to the yoga that I teach, it's about being in the world. It's about knowing that life is a gift to savor, not a problem to be solved, and how to most skillfully be in this life that we have. So yoga is a system of union. That's another really popular definition of the word yoga, is union, to yoke or join. And it's really this connection of mind, body, and spirit in whatever ways that looks like to the individual person. So how is it supportive? So breath. First of all, the breath is this portable self-care tool that's accessible anytime, anywhere. It is the doorway into this state of mindfulness, to this state of present moment awareness. You might have noticed when we just did 3 deep breaths at the beginning, how that maybe calmed you down or brought you into the present moment a little more. So breath is a huge tool, and it's with you anytime and anywhere. Nervous system regulation. These practices really strengthen the parasympathetic nervous system response, the ability to rest and digest, and can really take you out of fight, flight, or freeze, or the sympathetic nervous system arousal that creates the stress hormone that is just not a place we want to be. The practice of yoga is a way to, and mindfulness, to increase our ability to be aware and to then choose. So I like to also think about yoga as a practice of negotiation and discernment. So if you're practicing yoga on the mat, you decide how much do you move your body, how deep do you go into a pose, how fast or slow do you go, when do you rest. You're really in charge of the experience. And there's a saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So practicing yoga on the mat and practicing paying attention to what the body is asking for in that moment and giving yourself what it is that you need will then translate into being able to do that in life off the mat. And it really increases the ability to respond to situations instead of to react. So it's this process, this practice of negotiating and discerning, of increasing your awareness, attention, and acting accordingly. And then, of course, most people are most familiar with the physical benefits of yoga, right? So it can strengthen the body, it can bring flexibility, it can bring suppleness, it can help immunity, and strength, all those things. So that's sort of like the icing on the cake, I think, and it's often sort of the doorway in for most people and what most people think of as yoga. So I thought we'd do a little practice to work with the breath, which is this tool to immediately calm the nervous system and bring you back to center. So I wanted to share the 3-part breath, or also sometimes known as the full yogic breath. So wherever you are, find a comfortable position, whether you're sitting, lying down, and begin to just notice and feel the body. And bring your hands to your low belly, wherever you are. You might close your eyes or soften your gaze. Begin by just checking in with the breath. And just noticing, before we work with the breath, just noticing how you're breathing. You feel the breath most alive in the chest or the belly. Maybe you feel it coming in and out the nose or mouth. Noticing the rhythm of breath. And with your hands on your belly, on your next full breath in, breathe in all the way to the pit of the belly. Let the belly expand. And as you breathe out, just soften, release, and let go. Do that a few more times. Keep the shoulders soft. Just breathe into the pit of the belly. Let the belly expand. No holding, no tension in the body. As you breathe out, just let it crash out, nice and gentle. Do that one more time. Breathe into the pit of the belly. And breathe out, release, and let go. And bring your hands to your rib cage and cup your hands around your ribs, thumbs pointing back. As you breathe into the pit of the belly, and then let the breath rise, let the ribs expand out 360 degrees like an umbrella. As you breathe out, the ribs come back in, the belly releases. And do that 2 more times, breathing and fill up belly and ribs. And breathe out, ribs and belly. One more time. And bring your hands to your chest, maybe on your collarbones or right above your heart. As you breathe in, let the belly expand, let the ribs expand, and let the breath rise all the way up to the heart and chest. Keep the shoulders soft. As you exhale, let the breath crash out top to bottom, gentle and slow. And do that 2 more times. Fill up belly, ribs, and chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Release your hands and do that 1 more time, filling up top, bottom to top. And release, soften, and let go. And just let the breath return to its natural rhythm. If your eyes are open, you might close them or soften them and just notice, feel what just a moment or 2 of mindful 3-part full yogic breath, how that soothes, calms the nervous system or anything else that's activated. And when you're ready, coming back to the screen, to the here and now. So there are so many ways to work with the breath. That's just one particular tool that most people find really calming, really balancing, and is really pretty accessible anytime, anywhere. You know, just 1 or 2 of those full 3-part breaths can really change the course of your day. So that was a little experience of calm, I hope. And now moving on to a bit of connection. So many ways to talk about connection for sure. But what I wanted to offer today was a little experience of the physical practice of yoga as a way to connect with the body in order to release tension, and also to check in with this idea of mindfulness and awareness of what's going on in the body, and really bringing you into the here and now through movement of the body, which is great for stretching, strengthening, relieving tension, and connecting with whatever needs to be connected with at that time within yourself. So I wanted to offer a quick, easy, really accessible practice. And if you're sitting in a chair, really press the sits bones down, the sitting bones down, feel yourself rooted in the chair, and have your feet on the floor right under your knees. You might scooch to the front of your chair just a little bit away from the back, so you really can sit nice and upright. You could try this lying down. You could certainly be on the floor on a mat, or there's also really a lot of benefit of just imagining. If your body either can't or doesn't want to do this actual movement right now, you could just follow along with the breathing and imagine your body going into these shapes. And studies are showing that there's actually a lot of benefit from just imagining. So that's pretty cool, I think. So whether you're actually doing the practice or just imagining, wherever you are, begin by getting long through the spine. Feel long from tailbone to crown of head. And just notice, feel yourself seated or lying down here, whatever is in contact with support below, chair, floor, couch, bed. Your hands to rest gently on your knees or thighs. And as you breathe in, lift your chin, open your throat, let the belly spill forward and arch the back, get an opening through the front body. And as you exhale, round the spine, bring chin to chest, hollow out the belly, spread the shoulders, open the back body. And move slowly with the breath a few times through this movement. Inhale, arching the back, opening front body, shoulders back, heart shines forward, chin lifts. Exhale, round, bring chin to chest. And do that 2 more times on your own. You decide the depth, the pace. Moving, connecting with the body and the breath. And then pause and center, re-lengthen the spine, press sits bones down, lift crown up, take a breath in. As you exhale, bring your left hand to your chair, either onto the arm of the chair if you have one, or the seat of the chair. Inhale your right arm out to the side, up and overhead, and side bend. Open up through the right side ribs. Keep your hips and your shoulders square to the front. Inhale, lift up about halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, reach a little longer and deeper. And do that 2 more times, pulsing with your breath. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, reach and hinge. Last time, inhale. Exhale, get long. Inhale, come all the way up to center, bring your right hand down. Inhale, left arm up and over. Feel openness through left rib cage. And then pulse with the breath. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, reach. 2 more times on your own. Inhale, rise up, bring both hands down on either side. Take a breath in, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, twist over to the left. Bring your right hand either on your knee or thigh or on the arm or seat of the chair, and your left hand behind you. So as you twist here, keep both shoulders back and soft. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, twist a little deeper. Look over your left shoulder. And do that 1 more time. Full breath in, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale spins you through center, and as you exhale, twist over to the other side. Set yourself up. Let your hands land where they need to land. Engage low belly, and as you breathe in, lengthen the spine. Breathe out, twist. Look over the shoulder. Keep both shoulders back and soft. And 2 more breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 1 more time on your own. Next inhale spins you back through to center. Let your hands rest on your thighs, palms down for grounding. Eyes can close or soften, and just take a moment to feel what just a few moments of simple movement, of marrying breath with movement, how that's landing in the body, in the system. When you're ready, open your eyes, come back, and just a quick little practice. Again, just a few moments might be all you need to release some tension, to be more aware of what's going on in the here and now, of increasing mindfulness. And a little moving on to talk about compassion. And again, so many ways we could talk about compassion, but what I wanted to offer today was this idea of welcoming all parts of yourself. So I really feel like the relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you have, and how you engage with yourself is going to be how you show up and engage with with anyone and everyone in the world. So this practice of welcoming all parts of yourself has really been one instrumental, certainly through my hereditary cancer journey, and definitely also right now, as you know, this roller coaster of emotions, of experiences I think most of us are going through. So welcoming all parts of yourself is this practice of showing yourself the same empathy and compassion that you would show a guest. And I think it's also important to point out that welcoming all parts of yourself doesn't mean that you act from all these parts of yourself. So back to this idea of awareness and responding versus reacting. You know, you might not, even if you welcome a part of yourself that's less than desirable, it doesn't mean you act from that place. So this is really a practice of welcoming the parts you like and the parts you're learning to like, the parts that are familiar, the parts that are comfortable, and the parts that are really uncomfortable and you don't like being with. You might already know that just because you don't like some part of yourself, pushing it away doesn't make it go away. So this is a practice to welcome in any and everything. And it's really powerful. It's inspired by one of my teachers, Kobe Kozlowski, and in the resources that I'm going to offer, she wrote a book, and it's really, this practice is explained a lot more thoroughly in that book. But essentially, it's a practice of welcoming all of yourself. So you might just, you know, take a few moments, a few deep breaths, and then say to yourself 3 times, I welcome all of myself. I welcome all of myself. I welcome all of myself. I'm not going to do the full practice right now, just a little description of it. And then just go through sort of a laundry list of what feels like it needs welcoming. So I like to start usually with my physical body. And again, through my journey, through my diagnosis, through my surgeries, this was really incredibly powerful of just welcoming whatever it is that's happening in my body at the time. And you might welcome your kindness. You might welcome your humor. You might welcome your pain, your grief, your fear. You might welcome the part of you that doesn't like being scared. So again, more info in this in the resources, but it's a really incredibly powerful practice of showing yourself compassion. And I like to end by just saying, I see, I welcome, I accept all of myself. So how can you incorporate these tools into your day? Again, needs to be easy or we're not going to do it. That's how we humans work. So one way I like to do some of these is just first thing in the morning before I do anything else. So often, you know, wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is this I welcome practice. And also first thing in the morning, just take 3 deep breaths. You know, before you roll over and get your phone and look at the news or this or that, before you, whatever it is you need to do, just take 3 deep breaths. Another early morning practice that's really powerful, and this is I took this from Oprah, and you could Google it and search her talking about it, but it's also really incredibly powerful of wake up, open your eyes, first thing you do before even I welcome or take 3 deep breaths is just say thank you. And it's not just about saying thank you, but can you really embody this feeling of thank you? And Oprah says, like, it's this idea of like, I'm alive, I woke up again. Like, how miraculous is that? That here I am for another day, that I'm in this body, that I'm gifted another day. So just so simple and so powerful. And gratitude is another one of those, you know, saying thank you is gratitude, but there's a lot out there about gratitude and, you know, starting your day with 3 things you're grateful for, ending your day with 3 things you're grateful for, keeping a gratitude journal, all those things really, really true and helpful and powerful. So breath and movement, like we just did, you know, little bits here and there. It doesn't have to be a full hour-long yoga class. It doesn't even have to be actually moving the body. There's this, like I said, this benefit of just imagining. But there is really just magic and power in connecting breath with movement and doing even little bits here and there throughout the day, whether it's like a 2-minute little break or an hour class. And then this idea of just mindset shifts. So some of these are simpler and easier and quicker to do than others. But really we talk about these as tools, as practices, because none of these things are like one and done, like, boom, check that off the list, I got that. It's a practice, and it's a continual engaging with and figuring out, like, okay, what do I need to do now? How do I need to look at this situation now? And some overall mindset shifts that can be really helpful is to think of that life is happening for me instead of life is happening to me. Oftentimes we get in this victim mode of, look what's happening to me, look what's going on around me, look what's going on within me. But how can you co-create your life and not be a victim of circumstance, but take ownership? And one thing that's really helpful for that is really discerning, back to this awareness and the discernment of, like, what is it that I have control over and what is out of my control, and really focusing your mindset, your attention, your energy on the things that you have control over. And that can really be incredibly powerful and can shift a lot. And I know when I first got my diagnosis, and even now with the whole coronavirus thing, like, one of the things I kept going back and forth with in my mind is, well, knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss. So how to sort of hold those two truths and know, like, what is more useful in this situation, in this time, to be leaning into, right? So sometimes numbing out and, like, watching Netflix is the most skillful decision and action to take. Like, if you're like, I just can't take anymore, I need to tune out. But if that becomes a habit and a pattern, and you're really ignoring other parts of your life and it takes over, then it's not so skillful. So there's not anything necessarily wrong with watching Netflix or eating chocolate or whatever it is your particular thing is. It's just being aware and knowing, like, I'm doing this right now because it's actually helping me, and not because it's, I don't want to say an escape, because it might be an escape, but a mindful escape, if that, hopefully that makes sense. So some resources, and these will be posted on the Force website, some more specifics about this, but there's tons of stuff online right now. So there's tons of live yoga classes, which is great. And there's also on YouTube plenty of pre-recorded and some live yoga classes there as well. And private yoga can be great if it's not something that you're familiar with, or you're newer to it, or you have specific body things that you want to just make sure you are taking care of yourself. One-on-one yoga is a really nice option. Meditation is really this doorway into mindfulness, into being with the present moment. And I want to just sort of debunk that myth that meditation is quieting the mind. That's one form of meditation, but there really are infinite ways to meditate. And you probably are already doing some things that really are considered meditation, and which is, with a little just more awareness of it, can be even that much more powerful and supportive for you. So, it's not like, oh, I can't meditate because my mind won't shut off. Like, no, just, I want to debunk that. That's just not the case. So you don't have to be able to quiet your mind. You don't have to be able to shut everything out in order to get the benefits of meditation. And there's lots of really great apps out there with meditations, which are also in the resources. And then coaching is another great tool, really just having sort of someone in your corner to champion you, to help you, to guide you to more skillfully ride the waves of life. A really great mindfulness and yoga tool out there that I wanted to just highlight. And I think that's it. Here's if you're wanting to, let me know how any of this landed with you, what resonates, what you have tried and that's worked and not worked, what didn't resonate with you. I love to hear it all. Again, just sharing the tools, the resources, the things that I have found so helpful, that I love to share with others, mostly because of how helpful it has been for me. And I hope there's something of use and of value for you.
Alana, thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing these powerful tips. And it was really beautiful just to hear what we can do to take some control back into our lives during this difficult time. So thank you for making it really simple. Like there's simple things we can do throughout the day or early in the morning to make a difference, to set us on the right track to feeling a little calmness.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed practicing with you. And I encourage everyone to watch this video or practice as often as you'd like to incorporate these tools into your day. This is our 5th webinar in our series relating to how COVID-19 is affecting our community. And all the webinars are available on demand to view at your convenience. And we have one by Dr. Karen Hurley, a psychologist from the Cleveland Clinic. If this topic is interesting to you to learn more about coping tips. Stay educated about hereditary cancer and COVID-19 by viewing all our full list of resources on our website, and you can find that at facingourrisk.org/COVID-19. And a special thank you to our sponsors, AstraZeneca and Genentech, for helping to bring this program to you. Continue to live your life empowered, and thank you so much.